We got 8 books.
Customers to get feedback, and I felt so honored. I've never been a regular anywhere ever, and maybe that makes me kind of brave.
Hi guys, I feel like I haven't made an introduction for this vlog. So basically it's just gonna be a week in my life back to junior year from winter break. I actually went to the UK during the winter break. I went to London and Edinburgh, which there will be a short vlog about it at the end of this video if you guys are interested in watching. I will be doing a little book haul because I got so many books during my 10-day trip to the UK. These are all the books. I think I got 8 books, I'm not sure. But let's start because I feel like I could talk about books forever. So it's gonna be a long one if I don't start. The first book that I got is John Steinbeck of Mice and Men. I actually don't know anything about this book. I just love John Steinbeck. I've read East of Eden and I love that book, and I've been meaning to read more John Steinbeck's books, but I haven't gotten around to it. When I saw this, and I know this cover is not sold everywhere, so I picked it up immediately. It wasn't that expensive as well. It was £9, and it is a very thin book, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get through it in no time. That's the first book. The second book is White Nights by Dostoevsky. This is the cheapest book and the smallest book that I got out of all the books that I got in the UK. I actually started reading it. I'm on the second night or the second chapter. So far, I mean, I read the first chapter only, so I can't really tell, but I do like his semantics and his way of explaining things. Yeah, so far I really like just the literature of it, not really the content, because you know I just got into the first chapter, so I'm really excited to read this. Third book I got is Death in the Midsummer by Yukio Mishima. Honestly, don't know anything about this book. I picked it up because I read the summary on the back and it sounded really intriguing, so I picked it up, and I just like a classic Penguin classic book, you know, the one with the blue covers here. If you know, you know. I like collecting these versions of the books, so really excited to read this. It's not a long book as well. Pretty sure I could knock it down in a week or so. And the fourth book is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I have been meaning to read the Bronte sisters books for the longest time, but I haven't gotten around to it. It's just always so intimidating to me, the Bronte sisters. But you know, I went to the UK. It's illegal not to get a Bronte book when you are in the UK, so I picked it up again another reason for it is the cover. It's just such a beautiful cover. I've never seen this version of Jane Eyre, so yeah. Again, I think it's a romance book written in the 1800s, so I'm excited to see where it goes. Again, I don't know anything about this book. I know about Wuthering Heights. That was the book that I wanted to pick up, but during my trip I didn't see any Wuthering Heights, so I picked up Jane Eyre instead. Fifth book, I actually finished it already during my trip. It is last year's Nobel Prize winner in literature, Han Kang, The Vegetarian. This is a Korean literature book, and she went to Yonsei during her undergrad study, and I actually went to Yonsei for my study abroad program last year, so it's kind of a full circle moment. Anyways, I finished this in 2 or 3 days. It was a very nice book. I really like this book. I think if I could describe it, it's more of a psychological thriller. And I really like this book. You guys should read it. A lot of people said that they got nightmares from this, but personally I didn't get any nightmares. But I really like the book. It's very fun for me, at least, and leaves you thinking. And it's not simply just the act of reading a book, makes you think. So recommend this, and I am excited to read many of her books, like the Greek lessons, and yeah, I am happy to find another author that I like. The sixth book is Tokyo Express by Seicho Matsumoto. And again, this is a Japanese literature book. Again, I don't know anything about this, just read the summary behind. It's very intriguing. I think it's about a murder mystery, and I've been into murder mystery books the past couple of months, so I'm excited to read a murder mystery book written by a Japanese author, because I've never read a murder mystery book written by a Japanese author. I've always read like British authors or English or just American authors. I've never read anything Asian for murder mystery, so I'm really excited where this book is going to take us. I lost count. I think this is the 7th book. Jane Austen, Persuasion. This is actually the last book that I got during my trip. You just can't get a Jane Austen when you're traveling to the UK. You need to get a Jane Austen. Same with the Bronte sisters. Just look at this cover. A moment of silence for this cover because it's very pretty. I picked it up honestly because of the cover. Don't know anything about Persuasion. I do know a little something about Jane Austen, but I don't know anything about Persuasion. And the summary on the back says, "You pierce my soul. I am half agony, half hope. I have loved none but you." Intriguing, so I picked it up. Second to last book. Actually reading it right now. It's called The Practice of Not Thinking, A Guide to Mindful Living by Ryonosuke Koike. It's, I guess, a self-help book, but not really those modern self-help books. This is more focused on Buddhism, Japanese Buddhism to be precise. Japanese Buddhism and I guess the way monks live and how he interprets it into normal day-to-day life. So not monk-like, but I guess he gets it from the monks and then he interprets it to like just normal people life. I really like this book, but gotta read it really slowly because I feel like you could lose a lot of details if you just skim through it. And I honestly can't read more than like 2 or 3 pages of this book per day because there's so much information, there's so much to absorb. So I usually read it in the morning after I journal. I think it's a perfect way to start the day. And the last book, they're almost done, don't worry. It's another Korean literature book. It's called Welcome to the Hyunam-dong Bookshop by Hwang Bo-rum. Picked it up because the cover looked fun. The pink called me. I really like the Morisaki bookshop. I bet you guys know that if you guys read. And hence why I wanted to read a Korean version of it. That was a Japanese version. This was a Korean version. They're like totally different books, but it's both based on a bookstore. So I read a fifth of this book already. It's an easy read. It doesn't require a lot of thinking. It's just day-to-day life of a bookshop owner and her employee and her friend. So really easy read to read during your commute or whenever you want to read something before you go to bed but you don't want to read anything really heavy. This is a good book for it. Okay guys, that was my book haul. Yeah.
I can't be your love. Look is too trivial for you now. Oh, my life is falling apart. Maybe no one will knows if I disappear. But I'll pray for you all the time. If I could be by your side, I'll give you all my life, my seasons.
I've always shown you guys my morning routine, my reset routine, my productivity routine, but I've never actually showed you guys my night routine or how I just slow down at night. It's currently 8 p.m. and I didn't film all day. Only at 8 p.m. I started whipping out my camera. But I just went from grocery shopping and I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a haul. I got bananas because these are my snacks. I don't eat any other type of snacks. I got Nescafe cappuccino. I've been looking for this for so long. They're always sold out. So glad I finally have it. I got trout. I'm gonna make some mango trout tomorrow. I got Indomie, which is an Indonesian staple. I got chicken thighs. Oops. I got a bunch of fruits. I only stock on fruits, so hence the banana and the fruit. And I hate cutting fruits. That's why I really like bananas, because they don't need to be cut. And I have some sweet potato because I try not to eat rice at night. I have some green beans. I wanted to buy corns, but I couldn't find it. So I have lime. I have mango for the trout. I'm gonna put this back. I have red onion and just normal onion. I have some carrots. Lastly, I have maple syrup because I've been wanting to try to drink my matcha with maple because I've seen a lot of people doing that. So I'm curious. I'm searching up a honey tomato. But yeah, that's it for my haul. I also got tomato and garlic, but it's like way right there. I'm not gonna get it. But yeah, I'm gonna show you guys my night routine after this after I put all of this away. I washed the dishes and did all the boring stuff. Didn't film it, so you guys don't need to see that. Now I'm gonna take out my makeup. I try not to wear makeup every day, but it's been kind of impossible not to, not gonna lie. I just bought like a bunch of new makeups and I've been really liking them all, so I've been putting on makeup every day. Even though usually I don't really put on makeup every day, I only put it on whenever I go to school, or run errands, or I'm just hanging out with my boyfriend. I usually don't put on makeup at all, but I've been really liking the new makeup products that I got. So I've been using a lot of makeup lately, and every Sunday I use a face mask. I used to do it like twice a week, but in this economy, face masks are kind of expensive. Was back home in Indonesia where my parents paid for everything. That's why I could do twice a week face masks. But now I usually do like once a week. Skincare update. I recently changed to this cleanser. It's from Anua. They only have one cleanser, I believe. The other one's oil cleanser, so I'm pretty sure this is the only like foam cleanser. I really like it, not gonna lie. I like it more than the Laneige one and then the Senka one. I usually use, if not Laneige, I use Senka. But I really like this one and I feel like I'm gonna be repurchasing this one instead of the other two. Tonight's face mask is this. I never tried this before. I picked it up when I was gonna go to London. I planned on using it on the plane, but I never used it. So it went all the way to London and I brought it back to Toronto with me. I usually use like Korean face masks, like any brand that's having a deal, like a buy 5 get 1 deal. I would usually buy that one. Yeah, any face masks I use. I'm not really picky with it. I usually drink tea before I go to sleep. I would just have a cup of green tea. I sometimes switch it up to ginger tea or chamomile, but it's usually green tea. Because I don't know if this is true or not, don't quote me on this, but my mom always says that drinking green tea will make the food that you eat throughout the day like go down properly. I do have to warn you that she is an almond mom and she takes this very seriously. So every night, ever since I was like in middle school, I would drink green tea and I would stop eating before 7, like religiously. Like even if I was grumbling at night, she wouldn't give me anything. She would usually just give me dates to munch on and tell me to sleep. Drinking green tea means it's officially the end of the day, officially no more work, officially just watching TV and reading a book. So if I drink green tea, meaning I don't want to think anymore. I'm currently obsessed with Dr. House because my boyfriend was watching it and then I was like at his apartment and then I was like, oh my god, you need to rewatch that, because my mom loves the series and I've watched like every single episode but never really paid attention to them. So I'm watching this as an adult and I love it. I love it. Hi guys, I'm in bed right now. Usually end the night with some reading. I'm gonna show you guys what what I'm reading tonight because it differs every day. Really depends on what genre I'm like wanting to read that night. I usually read before I go to bed. I am reading this book tonight, which is the Clinical Handbook of Psychological Disorders, which is a weird book to read before you go to bed because it's a very heavy book. And I am a psychology student, if you guys are wondering. If you guys are medical students, you guys would have like a similar one to this, and you guys would know. I think it's called like Clinical Handbook of Medicine or something. So basically it's just like a bunch of obviously psychological disorders, and I'm still in chapter 1, which is panic disorder and agoraphobia. So I do have like little notes and I will like annotate it. This is a fun book for me, guys, don't judge, but this is my bedtime story. This is a fun book for me, and it like gives off psychology in like a fresh perspective because this is like what I read in my free time. It's like not a textbook that I need to read, which is why I find it easy to read. So I'm gonna read this section today and probably gonna go to bed. Okay, good night, guys. I'm gonna sleep. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. See you next.